life no get duplicate.
Na so ẹ̀mí ò láàárọ̀ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o. Make you take am easy.
Na so.
Radio Afinju says if you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink.
Tẹ́ jẹ́jẹ́ o.
Make you take am easy.
Na so.
This awareness is brought to you by Radio.
Wherever you're listening or watching Radio Afinju, the time is 3 p.m.
Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ Àfínjú. Lórí WhatsApp. Àfínjú. Instagram. Àfínjú. Facebook. Àfínjú. Lórí X. Àfínjú. Lórí YouTube. Àfínjú. Lórí TikTok. Àfínjú. Kí lorúkọ rẹ̀? Àfínjú. Ẹ bá mi pè o. Àfínjú. Rédíò. Àfínjú. Gbogbo èèyàn ló ń gbọ́ 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 Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú. Rédíò Àfínjú.
Stay informed with news on Radio Afinju.
First, a look at the highlights. ECOWAS holds summit as military leaders pledge to step down. Mauritius police issue arrest order for former central bank governor. Trump picks Richard Grenell as envoy for special missions. Compliments of the season and welcome to the World News on Radio Afinju. My name is Stella. Aderanti, the news in detail. West African leaders from the regional group ECOWAS are meeting for a summit with security and the departure from the bloc of three military-led governments high on the agenda in Abuja. Before the Economic Community of West African States meeting, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger reaffirmed as irreversible their decision to quit the bloc, which they condemned as subservient to former colonial ruler France. Among those attending the summit in Abuja will be Senegal's President Bassirou Faye, who was appointed as a mediator with the breakaway states by the 15-member ECOWAS in July. Faye said last week he was making progress in talks with the three and said there was no reason for them not to maintain relations, especially given the security situation. According to the bloc's regulations, the departure of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger will become effective 1 year after the announcement in January 2025. Bauchi State Governor and Chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, Bala Mohammed, has urged President Bola Tinubu to remove what he described as excess baggage within his administration. According to Governor Mohammed, while governors have confidence in the president's leadership, the actions of certain cabinet members are undermining these efforts. He said the president must throw away the excess baggage, emphasizing the need for decisive action. Governor Mohammed remarked as the special guest during the commissioning of the 14.1-kilometer Omwakali-Eberi Road in Omuma local government area of Rivers State. He noted that the focus across various states should be on governance rather than politics. Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State has directed all recently reassigned commissioners to complete the handover of their responsibilities before the close of business on Tuesday, December 17, 2024. The governor's spokesperson, Sanusi Tofa, in a statement explained that the cabinet reshuffle would take full effect during the next Executive Council meeting scheduled for Wednesday, December 18, 2024. The governor also stressed the importance of completing all transition processes within the stipulated time frame to ensure minimal disruption to government operations. The governor, in his message to the State Executive Council, also called for renewed dedication and teamwork, advising members to uphold a strong commitment to supporting the administration and delivering on its promises to the people of Kano State. Operators of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have recovered multi-billion worth of methamphetamine and loud shipments intended for distribution during the Christmas and New Year festive season at the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos. The drugs were concealed in automobile spare parts imported from Canada. In a statement from the agency's spokesman, Femi Babafemi, it revealed that the shipments were seized following months of intelligence-driven tracking of the cargo across 3 continents. Babafemi noted that this marked the first time the agency had recovered 2 consignments of methamphetamine weighing 83.301 kilograms. He added that the shipments were destined for warehouses in the Ladipo automobile parts market in the Mushin area of Lagos. 2 businessmen, Noa Nole, Emeka, and Friday Ogbe, were arrested in connection with the seizure. Away from Nigeria, police in Mauritius have issued an order for the arrest of the Indian Ocean Islands former central bank governor Havish Shogulam in connection to an inquiry into a conspiracy to defraud case. The action by the police anti-money laundering units is the first significant one from the government of Prime Minister Navin Ramgoolam, who said last week the outgoing government had falsified the country's gross domestic product, budget deficit, and public debt figures for years. The police said in a notice that the former central bank governor, Segulam, was out of the country and would be arrested as soon as he returned, but provided no more details on the nature of the case. It was learned Segulam did not respond to a request for comment. In a report issued to Parliament, Ramgoolam also accused the central bank of printing money to fund the government's Mauritius Investment Corporation, set up in 2020 to help companies deal with effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. In Asia, at least 3 people have been killed and dozens more wounded after an explosive was thrown into a crowd at a festival in Thailand. The attack took place shortly before midnight local time on Friday at the Red Cross Doi Lofa Affair, held annually in the Onfen district in the northern Tak province. Sources said 2 suspects have been held in custody, but no charges have been pressed. Police said at least 48 people have been wounded, 6 of whom are critically injured. In a statement, the Onfen rescue team said the explosive was thrown and landed at the foot of an outdoor stage where people had been dancing. It added that some of the wounded were taken to a nearby hospital, while several reports suggest the blast was caused by an improvised explosive device. In the United Kingdom, Britain officially became the 12th member of the Trans-Pacific Trade Pact, which includes Japan, Australia, and Canada, as it seeks to deepen ties in the region and build its global trade links after leaving the European Union. Britain announced last year it would join the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership in its biggest trade deal since Brexit. The accession means Britain will be able to apply CPTPP trade rules and lower tariffs with 8 of the 11 existing members from now Brunei, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, and Vietnam. The agreement enters into force with Australia on December 24th and will apply with the final 2 members, Canada and Mexico, 60 days after they ratify it. The pact represents Britain's first free trade deals with Malaysia and Brunei. But while it had agreements with the other countries, CPTPP provisions go further, especially in giving companies choices on how to use rules of origin provisions. In Europe, France's Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte has been struck by the worst cyclone to hit the islands in nearly a century. At least 11 people were reportedly killed when Cyclone Chido made landfall on Saturday, causing winds gusts of more than 225 km per hour, with fears the death toll could rise. French President Emmanuel Macron said France would be there for the people of Mayotte, while French officials said 255 firefighters and security personnel will be sent to the islands, with some having already arrived. France's Interior Minister Bruno Retailleau said all makeshift homes have been completely destroyed, and he feared a heavy death toll. Located northwest of Madagascar, Mayotte is an archipelago comprised of one main island, Grande Terre, and several smaller ones. In the Americas, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said he was picking Richard Grenell, his former intelligence chief, as presidential envoy for special missions, a post where he will likely drive policies towards some U.S. adversaries, including North Korea. Trump stated this on his Truth social media platform without further describing the duties. A Trump transition source told reporters that Grenell will also focus on tensions in the Balkans. Grenell served as Trump's ambassador to Germany, a special presidential envoy for Serbia and Kosovo peace negotiations, and an acting director of national intelligence during Trump's 2017 to 2021 term. After campaigning for Trump ahead of the November 5th election, he was a top contender for Secretary of State, a job that went to U.S. Senator Marco Rubio. He was also considered for special envoy for the Ukraine war, which went to retired Lieutenant General Kate Kellogg. Trump takes office next month. A U.S. appeals court judge has taken the rare step of revoking his decision to retire from active service on the bench, depriving Republican President-elect Donald Trump of the ability to fill a judicial vacancy. U.S. Circuit Judge James Wine, an appointee of Democratic former President Barack Obama on the Richmond, Virginia-based 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, disclosed his decision in a letter, opens new tab to Democratic President Joe Biden. It marked the first time since Trump won the November 5th election that the Democratic-appointed appellate judge had rescinded plans to take senior status of former semi-retirement for judges that creates vacancies presidents can fill. Two trial court judges had similarly done so, prompting complaints by conservatives, including Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell, who railed about an unprecedented spate of judges on retiring post-election. In the Middle East, Syria's de facto leader Ahmed al-Sharaa said Israel is using false pretexts to justify its attacks on Syria, but that he is not interested in engaging in new conflicts as the country focuses on rebuilding following the end of Bashar al-Assad's reign. Sharaa, better known as Abu Muhammad al-Golani, leads the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham HTS group that swept Assad from power last week, ending the family's 5-decade iron-fisted rule. Israel has since moved into demilitarized zone inside Syria, created after the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, including the Syrian side of a strategic Mount Hamad that overlooks Damascus, where it took over an abandoned Syrian military post. Israel, which has said that it does not intend to stay there and calls for incursion into Syrian territory, a limited and temporary measure to ensure border security, has also carried out hundreds of strikes on Syria's strategic weapons stockpiles. A Russian oil tanker carrying thousands of tons of oil products split apart during a heavy storm today, spilling oil into the Kerch Strait, while another tanker was also in distress after sustaining damage. Russian officials said at least one person was killed. The 136-meter Volganet 212 tanker with 15 people on board was split in half as it bowsed, sinking with waves washing over its deck. Officials said the Russian-flagged vessel, built in 1969, was damaged and had run aground. The emergency ministry said a second Russian-flagged ship, the 132-meter Volganet 239 was drifting after sustaining damage. It has a crew of 15 people and was built in 1973. Both tankers have a loading capacity of about 4,200 tons oil products. Now talking sports, Wolves have sacked manager Gary O'Neill in the wake of Saturday's 2-1 defeat by Ipswich Town. Multiple sources have reported the 41-year-old's departure, which has not yet been confirmed publicly by the club. His sacking comes just 3 days after Wolves chairman Jeff Shee said the club was united behind O'Neill following Monday's 2-1 defeat at West Ham. The defeat was their 11th in the Premier League this season. They have had only 2 wins and leaves the Black Country club 19th, 4 points from safety. O'Neill replaced Yolan Lopetegui just 4 days before the start of the 2023-24 season, with Wolves going on to finish 14th. But they began the season poorly, losing 7 and drawing 1 of their first 8 league games. Before we go, here again are the highlights. West African leaders from the regional group ECOWAS are meeting for a summit with security and the departure from the bloc of 3 military-led governments high on the agenda in Abuja. Elsewhere, police in Mauritius have issued an order for the arrest of the Indian Ocean Islands' former central bank governor Havish Srigolam in connection to an inquiry into a conspiracy to defraud case. And in the Americas, we brought you news that U.S. President-elect Donald Trump said he was picking Richard Grenell, his former intelligence chief, as presidential envoy for special missions, a post where he will likely drive policies towards some U.S. adversaries, including North Korea. And that was the world news on Radio Afinju. To view our channel, please follow us on Facebook, Radio Afinju, X, Radio Afinju, and YouTube, Afinju FM. My name is Stella Aderanti. Thanks for listening.